The American dream feels distant for many. A vast economic gap now separates the very wealthy from everyone else. This wealth gap is not just a statistic, it is a daily reality. It shapes communities, influences opportunities, and fuels a sense of unfairness. Many hardworking people feel left behind. They see a system that seems rigged. The promise of shared prosperity appears broken. We must understand this growing divide. It is crucial for our nation's future. The numbers paint a stark picture indeed. Consider CEO pay versus average worker pay. From 1978 to 2023, CEO compensation, adjusted for inflation, exploded. It surged by an astonishing 1,085%. During that same period, typical worker pay barely nudged upwards. It rose only 24%. This means CEOs in 2023 earned 290 times more than their average employee. Back in 1965, that ratio was a much smaller 21-to-1. This trend is alarming. This chasm didn't appear overnight, it has been widening for decades. Policies and corporate practices shifted. These changes favored those at the very top. For instance, the average CEO made $22.21 million in 2023. This is a huge jump from $1.87 million in 1978. Compare this to the average worker. Their pay went from $57,000 in 1978 to just $71,000 in 2023. This slow growth for workers is the core of the problem. This immense disparity creates deep frustration. Ordinary Americans work hard, often harder than ever, yet they see their wages stagnate. They struggle with rising costs of living. Housing, healthcare, and education become less affordable. Meanwhile, a select few accumulate unprecedented wealth. This isn't just about economics, it's about fairness. It's about the kind of society we want to live in. The current path is unsustainable. So why has CEO pay skyrocketed like this? It is not primarily due to better skills or higher productivity. A major reason is the power CEOs hold over corporate boards. These boards are supposed to represent shareholders. They are meant to set reasonable executive pay. However, many boards are too closely aligned with the CEOs they oversee. This means CEOs often have significant leverage. They can effectively influence their own pay packages. Another key factor is the structure of CEO compensation. In the 1990s, a tax policy change occurred. It aimed to cap deductible executive salaries. Ironically, this led companies to embrace stock options. They also used other equity-based rewards more heavily. This tied CEO pay closely to stock market performance. As a result, CEO earnings often reflect general market trends. They don't always reflect individual company success or true merit. In 2023, stock-related pay made up 77.6% of CEO compensation. The public listing of executive pay also played a role. Starting in the 1970s, CEO compensation became more visible. Magazines published scorecards and SEC rules mandated transparency. This created a competitive spiral. Companies started benchmarking CEO salaries against each other. No board wanted to seem like they were underpaying their CEO, so they aimed for average or above average pay. This naturally pushed all CEO salaries upwards. Search firms also contributed by taking percentage fees. Where do all these corporate profits go? Increasingly, they concentrate at the top. This rise in CEO pay is a direct contributor to economic inequality. Fewer of the company's gains are shared with ordinary workers. This isn't just about fairness, it can impact company health. Research suggests that since 1970, as CEO pay soared, the real value growth of large firms actually declined. Excessive hiring of external CEOs rather than developing internal talent also seems to have a negative effect on overall economic growth. The consequences of this vast pay gap ripple through society. The most direct impact is, of course, worsening economic inequality. A small fraction of the population accumulates a massive share of the nation's wealth. This leaves less for everyone else. It makes it harder for families to build financial security. It limits opportunities for upward mobility. The American dream of working hard and getting ahead feels increasingly out of reach for many. Wealth concentration is a troubling sign. Stagnant wages for workers have profound effects. Families find it difficult to cover basic needs. The cost of housing, healthcare, and education continues to rise. Yet paychecks do not keep pace. This creates enormous stress and insecurity. It forces people to take on more debt. It can delay or prevent important life decisions. Things like buying a home or starting a family become harder. Employee purchasing power declines, which can also hurt the broader economy. Beyond individual households, this disparity frays the social fabric. It can lead to increased political polarization and populism. When people feel the system is unfair, they lose trust in institutions. Social unrest can become more common. There is a documented link between high inequality and societal instability. Employee morale also suffers in companies with huge pay gaps. This can reduce productivity and innovation. A divided society is not a healthy society. Furthermore, this imbalance can harm America's standing. Extreme inequality can lead to a loss of global competitiveness for U.S. corporations. If talent is not nurtured broadly, and if morale is low, companies suffer. National happiness and well-being are also affected. Constant financial pressure and a sense of injustice take a toll. We see growing societal division. This is not the foundation for a thriving, optimistic nation. We must address these deep-seated issues. Addressing this deep divide requires bold and systemic changes. Policy reforms are a crucial starting point. We could implement higher marginal income tax rates for top earners. Tax policy can also be used to discourage excessive CEO pay. For example, corporations could face higher tax rates if their CEO-to-worker pay ratio is excessively high. Capping executive compensation and taxing amounts over that cap is another option. These measures can help redistribute some of the gains more broadly. Strengthening worker power is also essential. This means promoting policies that lead to broader wage growth for everyone. Labor unions play a vital role here. Stronger unions can negotiate for better pay and benefits. They can help balance the power dynamics within corporations. Worker representation on corporate boards is another avenue to explore. We also need to address the fissuring of the workforce. This is where companies outsource lower-paid jobs, often leading to worse pay and conditions. Corporate culture itself needs a transformation. Companies should shift their focus. Instead of just asking to pay executives, they should ask to pay. Financial incentives should align with genuine value creation and internal motivators. This can help avoid destructive behaviors driven by excessive pay. Prioritizing internal CEO candidates who understand the company's values can be beneficial. Considering collective incentives like those in some professional service firms might also prove effective. A culture of collaboration is key. For individuals navigating this challenging economic landscape, survival means being proactive. Developing new skills is more important than ever, especially with AI and automation. Lifelong learning is key. Financial literacy helps individuals make better decisions with their money. Advocating for change, even in small ways, matters. Supporting policies and organizations that aim for a fairer economy can make a difference. We must invest in workforce development, ensuring everyone has a chance to adapt and thrive.